Um, and there's, okay, so there's, okay, so it's also worth rethinking the UI here. So, okay, so I had this um, as a sort of pill-shaped thing that matches the input. Um, but that's not really clear that it's like clickable, right? I kind of liked that in the blog post we found. Um, let's find it real quick. Um, do, 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 do. They had basically designed their own little thing that even has like the calendar icon and everything. So, um, no, I'm using Kotlin. Kotlin is the main programming language for Android development, which is what we're working on. Um, so in this blog post, they basically made their own sort of custom composable here that has like the text and the calendar icon. And so I think maybe we can make our own date picker composable. Um, that would like be clickable and everything else. Luck Chan, thank you for the follow. Um, yeah. So let's go down that rabbit hole. Let's go to we've got like core UI components. Let's put it in here. And let's call this TOA date picker. Um, and this will take in some stuff, but we'll worry about that later. Um, let's throw that on a surface. I guess actually I need to update my live template. This should have its own modifier. Uh, I'm actually going to do that real quick. Or maybe I'll do it later. I want to update my autocomplete template so that the modifier is always applied. Um, this way. Yeah, I get that. Well, Android made the switch to Kotlin first, like 2 years ago, but there's still a lot of apps that exist in Java, and it's probably easier because it's what like universities teach and stuff like that. But Kotlin is a much more fun programming language once you get involved with it. Um, so let's build this out. So what I'm thinking this needs to be is a row. Um, I'll have a modifier. Use the modifier that's passed in. Um, and what's inside this row? Well, we're going to have some text, which will say something like today. We'll worry about actually passing in the values later. And then icon, which will be like icons.default. Huh, there's no like calendar. Looking for, so there is like calendar today, but that's not in, um, I'm gonna see what date range looks like. Um, okay, let's build this. I'm also gonna say this should. Do I always want this to be filled next with? We're also gonna have like a border, right? Um, and width will be one that dip. Color will be uh what do we want our color to be? Um, yeah, exactly. Any job, my last job, they did like all new development in Kotlin, even though they weren't getting rid of the Java portion of their code base. Um, thinking about what I want this border color to be. Um, oh wait, isn't there? Okay, hold on. So how does, this is a good question. I want this border color to be basically maybe use a shape instead of border. Well, if I want this sort of like outline, I need to draw the border. I will need to give it a shape, um, which we're basically going to say like, um, let me just throw something in here for now. But the shape would be like 0.5f. Oh, no, it's like the border modifier takes a shape. Let's run with this for a quick second. I also think in here, I'm gonna give it I'm gonna give it some padding just to be able to like differentiate it inside the preview. This isn't gonna look great at the start, but it'll get something on the screen. Um, something super small. Um, no, I don't want shies. I wanted percent. I guess percent is an int. So 50. Um, I also want, okay, I'm gonna do this a little further. There's gonna be a row that has all of our text and stuff inside of it. And we're gonna wrap that inside of a box. The box is what's gonna have the border on it. And the reason I want to do that is because inside of this box, I want there to be padding. Um, and I also want the text to like fill up most of the space. So we're gonna have a box that has the rounded border on it. We're gonna have a row which has some text and an icon for date range, and this icon actually looks good. And so now let's build and refresh. I'm also in my preview, actually I should have done this. Um, I want this to be like max width because that's what I'm gonna do probably in practice, right? Uh, okay, perfect. This actually looks pretty good. I did give padding to the row, but the reason I wrapped it around, the reason I didn't give padding to the box is because, like, see that padding goes like outward. I want there to be text. I want there to be space between the text and the border, and so that is why we did it that way. Um, so my compose question that I was going to try to figure out is, can I eliminate any sort of guesswork about what this color is? And here's how I thought about doing that. Um, I was going to look at like how does the text field work? Um, because so we have these like text field colors, which I guess Okay, which I guess defaults to the unfocused border. So I guess it defaults to on surface. Content alpha. Interesting. So I think I just want to copy this. Um, I basically want the same default as like a text field would use. Hey Matt, how's it going? Okay. Um, but I also think that I need to figure that out for text. So text is the same way. Text color would be on background. I guess I could pass these in. Um, let's do that. Let's say border color will be this. It's going good. We're doing a bunch of, we're working on the, so do I have it open? We're working on the sort of add task screen right now, and we're about to look at building a date picker with Compose, or rather using like a date picker library, but the initial thing that the user clicks on will be like a composable, and then when they click on that, we'll just launch open like a dialog fragment uh, that will do the date picking for us. So we're working on getting that base composable, this little guy over here, done. And what I'm doing now is I want this to basically have the same color defaults as like a text field would. So I'm actually looking at like the text field default colors and copying them over into the constructor here. And we also have this icon color one, which we want to copy over. Um, so now that we have that, that's our preview for it. Um, we're also going to want this sort of like on click. Do I want it to be on click? Or would this composable be responsible for launching the dialogue and instead it would have a callback like, hey, the date's changed? Let's figure that out in a second. Let's take what we've just added here. Composable that when clicked launches a date picker. Um, yeah, but I was thinking, should the callback be on this clicked or should the callback be on date selected? And I think it would be like on date selected, right? Um, yes. Yes, I think it would be. The same way you pass like an on click lambda to a button, an on text change lambda to a text field, things like that. Um, at least that's my understanding of everything. Um, click launches a date picker and notifies the um, uh, we'll just say this for now. Launches a date picker. Um, yeah, I guess that's because they're not like interface on date changed callback sort of things, but that's effectively what they are, right? Um, so okay, so now that we have this, let's go back to um, uh, add task content. I just blew your mind. I love it. Um, and so where we put the task date input, we're going to put TOA date picker. Here we'll do fill max width. I don't think we need to worry about anything else. We will need to handle the enabled state. Um, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. For now, let's just see what we get. I'm waiting for the previews to rebuild. Project is slowing down. Okay, but that looks good. That looks like, if we look at this here, that looks quite in line with the text field. It's hard to, huh. I'm also surprised because I never specified the height, but they look almost identical. So you can hardly even tell that those are separate composables. I like it. Okay, but um, well, we'll worry about the disabled state later. Let's talk about clicking. So this blog post we were looking at, they use Material Date Picker as a library, right? Is that default in Android? Oh, it is. Well, I think that was a third-party thing. Um, okay, so let's copy this code real quick. And you know what else I'm gonna do? Well, let's hold on, one step at a time. Um, the step I was gonna take is going in here. So we can have this show date picker, which will take an activity. This is the new date. Okay, so this takes an activity and then a callback for the updated date, which is a long, so this will be like the milliseconds of the date we selected. And so what we do is we create a picker, we show it, and then add on positive button, click listener. So this callback happens when you click the positive date. We call this callback. So where would this happen? Well, first thing is we would need the activity would be something like local context dot current as app-compat activity. And then on the box, we can do the clickable modifier. And we can call show date picker activity updated date coming soon. I just want to see that this launches it. I think that's it. So what I was going to do for testing sake is it acceptable to cast it like that? I would normally tell you no. I don't like this. I don't like this. Casting has its purpose. I don't like this cast in particular. Um, but let's make sure it works, and then we'll talk about a better way. One of the things I was going to do, so on the login screen, oops, um, on the login screen, I was going to comment this out, and then for the add test screen, I was going to make that start equals true, so that when I run this, I'll start on the add test screen, so I can test this out. Um, so I think the reason that cast happens is because in here I need to call support fragment manager, which looks like it's a function on fragment activity. So what I could do is I could do like you can define your own local provider just for the activity. I could do that. Um, oops, our app crashed. Why did it crash? Maybe watch it fail because that cast was invalid for this case, which it might be. We're using a component activity, not an app compat activity. Oh my god, that was it, isn't it? Okay, well, there's the answer to your question, Tim. No, that particular cast was not acceptable. uh, you can't make this shit up. Um, okay, but um, so can I cast it as a fragment activity? Well, okay, let's hold on. Let's look at our main activity and let's see what it actually is here. So this is a component activity. Let's look up component activity in the docs. And let's see what it's, whoops, one sec, I have a message. Let's see what its hierarchy is. Known direct subclasses. So a component activity, does that mean a compose activity is a fragment activity? Or is it the other way around? That a fragment activity is a component activity? Well, let's find out. Let's try this. Um, I just want to make it work. Otherwise, yeah, we might need our own um, local composition provider or whatever. That crashed again, didn't it? Okay. Well, I suppose without trying to think about Android casting. Wait, why can't I? Oh, because our main activity uses some experimental navigation. Let's just opt in. Um, a main activity should work, right? Oh, it doesn't. Interesting. Okay. So, so then this can't just be a component activity. This needs to be a fragment activity. Like Tim said, it's the other way around. A fragment activity is a component activity. Um, but now this cast should work. Um, but there's probably a better way to do it. Well, we still use a local provider, which I've never actually done myself, and I'd love to try that out. So maybe we should do that as a way to clean this up. All right, click on it. Okay, why does this look horrendous? That's not my fault, right? Um, this feels like an Android 12 thing. Um, why does it look like that? What is this select date and then selected date up here? Um, I literally all I did was, what does this do? Yeah, okay. Um, yeah, we're not doing a custom date pick or anything, so we literally just need, we could override a theme, title text. I don't think we need to do all that. Um, yeah, I guess I could like supply like, what are my options here? I could set title text. What else can I set? I guess that's it. Um, I can set input mode, um, but I don't know if I can stop the user from changing that. Let's run that and let's see what that title text gives me. Yeah, okay, so I mean that worked, but like it's still just small up here. That's awkward. Um, that could be any number of issues with the Material 3 alpha library I'm using though. So I'm not gonna read too far into it yet. Um, I also don't like that it's using like the default theme and not compose material dialogues. Material dialogue builder for Jetpack Compose. Ooh, neat. Oh, and it has some date ones already. All right, let's try them out. Ooh, I like that it says that you should also use the Java time APIs. Maybe that means it gives me a callback in like a local date. Um, oh, nice, it does. It gives me a local date. Amazing. Oh, and it even keeps the dialogue state. Let's try it out. Um, so actually, given that, oh, and then I don't even have to worry about the activity anymore. Let's just let's drop that code in here real quick. So we've got a dialog state, which will be remember material dialog state. Um, so if I create the dialog, which is a composable function, does it not actually? I yeah, well, this is what like if I use the alarm clock app or the Google Calendar app, this is what it looks like. So I have no idea why the material date picker was doing what it was doing, but um, we'll do material dialog, um, dialog state. I actually want to understand how this works because does it? Oh, it does do like casing for me, but um, Why is this yelling at me? Well, we can get rid of that for now. And we can get rid of that for now. Okay. So, but then it says, okay, so then in a click, you would do dialog state.show. And I'm really curious how this works. Um, oh, because it has this mutable state showing, and then does it basically do like, if it's not showing, it doesn't render? Oh, that's exactly what it does. Neat. All right, let's run it. And let's take this actually, and let's put this in the stream history notes before I forget. I've got to clean all this up after the stream, which I'm aware of, but that will be a post-stream thing for me to worry about. This will also be a fun YouTube video to split up. We're at 2.5 hours already. This particular build has taken a minute. Anyone doing anything exciting this week? Have something cool that you worked on? Anything you want to brag about? I don't know how many of y'all are actually Rocket League fans, but there's a Rocket League LAN event, the first one in 2 years, starts tomorrow. I'm very excited. I think 11 a.m. Eastern is when it kicks off, so I'm ready. Won't have the most productive day tomorrow. Okay, let's check this out. Ah, beautiful. This is way better. Um, I still find it interesting that this is using. Okay, this is cool. I'm not gonna complain. We're going to accept this is a good start. It's a little laggy. Can y'all see how long between that tap happens and when the load happens? Um, but I'm okay with that for now. That's a little weird. I wonder why it's laggy. But that's a start. So um, let's commit this. And I'll pull it up one more time in case any of y'all tabbed away while we were waiting. This is what the day picker looks like. So what I was also confused about is the fact that this is using like the default purple colors. I'm going to take a look at what happens if I cancel it. It just closes. What happens if I hit OK? It also just closes. There was a callback with the new date, and I'll have to play around with actually hooking that up into our view state and all that fun stuff, um, which we can do next. But what was I going to say? I had a thought. So I noticed that this was using the like default purple colors, and so I was going to take a look. Can you send a toast from Compose? I'm not positive. The one time I did this, actually in this app, I used I basically did the same way you make it from an activity, and I just referenced the context. I can show you real quick. Um, I basically did it the same way you do it before, but the context is just like local context.current. There might be like a toast composable or something, but I just used like the existing static like make text call. Anyways, words. This is purple. I want it to not be purple. I'm gonna go look at the documentation and see if I can make it not purple. I had to spit that out, or my brain was never gonna get through the whole thing. Um, so we do have, aha. So take a look at this. So we have this material dialog, right? And it has a background color, which is material theme.colors.surface. This is the same problem we've had in the past. This is a material 2 convention, but our app has been using material 3. So we can just override this one parameter with a material 3 version. Now, I am curious if this color gets passed around to buttons and stuff too. Let's change it by itself first and go from there. So background color, material theme dot color scheme dot what did they use? I already forgot. Surface. So we're going to use surface. And now let's run this and let's see what we get here. Okay. Kind of. So the dialogue background is our surface, which actually makes sense. This is now dark, but everything else is still dark. So I think we need to do a little more digging and figure out where the other stuff is coming from. Um, let's look at their date picker function. Aha. So they have date picker colors. Oh, okay, I love this. This is perfect. Okay, so they have these date picker colors, which have like the header background, blah, 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 blah. So we're going to copy this and we're going to make our own Material 3 version of this. Can I use this? That's internal, so I can't use that. Um, we're going to copy this and we're going to make our own version of this real quick. So we'll do a private fun and we'll do how did we do it with the text field? Because we had to do the same thing. In TOA text field, we have this private function. We called it MD3 text field colors. So we're going to do the same sort of thing here. We're going to do MD3 date picker colors. And we're basically going to copy all the same parameters that are in here, but instead of colors, we're going to do color scheme. And this will return date picker colors. And then so here we'll do return date picker defaults dot colors, and then pass everything in. Okay, sorry, there was a lot of keyboard shortcuts. Let me show you what we're doing. This line right here, if we look at this implementation, that's using the Material 2 color scheme. And that's why we're getting the purple defaults, because our app is not using Material 2. So what we did is we made a private function for the Material Design 3 color scheme. that uses all the same parameters, but here we're using color scheme.primary, color scheme.onPrimary. These are the material 3 versions of everything. So now, where we define the dialog up here, we want to override it there, but on the date picker, we can say colors will be MD3 date picker colors. And so now, if we run this, oh, I'm so excited. This is going to look so good. We will not have this purple situation, but something that matches the theme of the rest of our app. Oh, it's almost perfect. Okay, it's almost perfect. So the buttons are still purple, and this stuff right here, where it shows like, I don't know if you can even read that, like December 2021, that's still black. But we're making progress here. So let's figure it out. So I assume, this might be a problem. So, hmm. So when we define a positive button, we give it a text style and everything. But I just noticed that this does not have a color override. So that is getting a little complicated here. So, hmm, I wonder, here's an interesting thought. What if I made a Material 2 theme that used my color palette, but then where we do like our base theme, right? And I have this material theme. What if I just wrap this in like a Material 2 theme, right? And then put this inside of it. And then like as we propagate down where it gets like the color palettes, it would just have both. And it's kind of hacky, but like, wouldn't this work? Like, I don't see why not, right? So humor me. I'm just I want to be humored here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do something like this. I'm just gonna do it on dark theme for now. Um, or actually, so we're gonna do now dark MD2 color. So here we're gonna do dark colors, and let's fill them all out. So primary is going to be dark color, dark theme colors dot primary. Primary variant. Oh, do we even have this? No, we don't have like. Oh, I guess we have inverse primary. What is that? That's not even in here. We're not gonna worry about that one. Um, primary, secondary will be dark theme colors dot secondary. Background will be dark theme colors dot background. Surface will be dark theme colors dot surface. Error will be dark theme colors dot error. On primary will be dark theme colors dot on primary. on secondary, we'll do dark theme colors dot on secondary, on background, um, on surface, um, so something like this is kind of hacky, but it would remove my need for like this Material Design 3 implementation all the time because now I have both the Material Design 2 and 3 color palettes defined for the time being. So that if I basically I'm gonna try to prove it. I'm gonna remove that color to this call to update colors there. I'm also gonna remove this. Um, and what I'm gonna do is at the root level, at the theme, um, we can just do material theme. This will be for dark MD2 colors. We'll just do else light colors for now. But then inside of that, we do this. I have no idea if these are going to conflict with each other, but it might be crazy enough to work. Um, it might be crazy enough to work. And that would allow me to get rid of a lot of my like Material Design 3 conversions. Let's find out. Ta-da! It worked. This is great. Um, that was way simpler than what I would normally have done. Uh, like way simpler than what I would normally have done. So we can even take, so now that we have that, it's beautiful. We're going to screenshot it, by the way. Um, let's do the same thing that we did with these, and let's make the light version. Um, and then within this, we're going to replace dark theme colors with light theme colors. And inside our theme, we'll do light MD2 colors. Oh my god. Okay. So, okay, that's great. Yeah. So, so I actually have another spot where I want to try this out now. Um, I think in order to do what I was thinking, I need to first go back to huh. Like so now that we have this, we can go down a rabbit hole of cleaning up the other code, but I actually don't know if I want to do that yet. Let's figure out why this is failing. A magic number. Aha. I think we defined this somewhere actually. Oh, we called it a we had it as our button shape. We can do that here. We can give it a button shape so that we lose that magic number reference there. Um, but okay, let's do some other code cleanup now that we have this real quick. So we're still not, we can open this and we can select the date. It's still laggy. Um, but we can select something and we're not dealing with the callback yet, but I'm okay with that. Um, before we do it, I want to go back to cleaning up some of our code here. So what do I want to clean up? Well, the add test screen, That's no longer our start destination. The login screen goes back to being our start destination. And we'll do that. And I actually want to go on a brief endeavor to get rid of all of those Material Design 3 overrides that I made and see if we can still have a good looking UI for all components. Um, this would be really great. This is such a good blog post idea of mine now. Um, okay, so where do we have it? So we have like oh wait, these can go away now. Thought we did that. Um, okay, but here we have like MD3 text field colors. We should be able to get rid of those now. Um, because we basically overrid everything. So we'll see how those look. Um, I thought I made, okay, I made a material 3 card, which this should no longer be needed because I override surface. So like, and the material 3 circular progress bar, we can get rid of both of those. So this material 3 card, we're going to replace with a regular card. And the circular progress indicator will just be a circular progress indicator. That's in a few spots. Clean up our imports. Can I recap why I'm doing this? So, sure. So, in a previous stream, we saw that the Material 3 library doesn't have um, all of the components yet. So, like a card doesn't exist in the Material 3 library yet. And so, as a result, the default colors that it's using when it's referencing the material theme, those didn't exist because I'm not creating a Material 2 theme. Right? Like, you know how you have like your theme composable that exists at the root of your project? So that's what allows you to do material theme.colors.primary everywhere, and it just works. So that works for the material 2 theme, but we're seeing that didn't work for material 3. And what I had previously thought was the solution is, well, I'll just make a material 3 version of all of these components that overrides those specific colors as we go along. And that did work, and that made sense. But then today, a different idea clicked is that what if I define both a Material 3 and a Material 2 theme at the root of my project? And if I do that, then any components or libraries I use will get my color scheme, so long as both of the theme entities, theme functions that I create, reference the right color palettes, right? As long as I do that, then it shouldn't matter what the component is under the hood. It should just work. And ideally, I'll still want to move everything to a Material 3 version for consistency, but right now, in an alpha release, a solution like that would work. So we went into our theme, and that's what we did. We have the old material theme first, where we have our dark material design 2 and light material design 2 colors, and then we have our material 3 version. So there's still going to be some slight issues in that, like, I don't have a material 2 typography defined. So my typography might look weird depending on the component that's used. But as far as colors go, I'm covered. So let's look at the app. We're using a material 2 text field, right? But if I click on this, we can see that, oh no, that it's not perfect. Um, and I was so excited that that was going to work. And I think the reason it's not perfect is because the surface thing doesn't match up. That just occurred to me that like if I have a surface and it overrides, like the on surface isn't going to work if one component's using material 2 and one's using material 3. So this was not a great idea in the long run, um, because not every color lines up. But some things work, like my card views work out of the box, which is pretty cool. Um, and my this works. But I think now that I know that, I think I'm going to um, keep what we had, where we have some material 3 specific components in the code base. Um, and we'll continue to override things as needed. But the dual theme idea did work to fix the date picker UI, um, which leads me to another small UI thing that I just noticed. Let this rerun. We'll talk about the other small thing I just noticed. Test, test. So clicking on this launches the date picker. All these colors seem to look good. Um, but what I noticed, a small thing I just noticed, if I long press on this, notice how the ripple effect isn't bound by the border. Um, that's not great. So I want to see if there's a way to, and there's definitely got to be one. Um, oh, well, these, we did fix this, so that method could still be removed. Yeah, I think there's clip, um, or is it shape? No, there's clip, button shape. I think that's what we want. Let's try that out. I'm going to go back to what I was saying earlier. We're going to go to add task screen. We're going to make that our start destination, just so we can avoid having to click through everything all the time until we get the date picker handling working. And then once we know this works, I'd love to work on receiving the date callback and then maybe doing some sort of like date formatting to configure displaying the date. You know, oh, I clicked on it too fast, but actually that worked perfectly. So now that ripple effect as we click on this fills the space right inside of here. Oh, it's coming together so good. I love it. Um, let's track that. This is fun. Um, okay, I would like to, let me check it. Check it with Megan. Okay, so um, okay, so this function for the date picker um, will have like a value. I guess that's kind of a convention we can use, which will be a local date um, that we display. Here, for the preview, we could say like local date.now. Um, but like other composables, we would have this lambda like on value changed, which will be a local date unit sort of thing. And that's actually good here. We can do, for the date picker, we can do on date changed will be like on value changed. Um, so That's good. That callback works. But what we sorry about that. Okay. Uh, but what we're gonna need to do. Okay, let's break here for a sec. I'm gonna refill my water. Take a quick restroom break. Let me fill you in on what we're gonna do when we come back, so you can decide if you want to stick around. So we've got this callback for the date changed. One thing we're gonna do is have to proxy that all the way back to our view model so that we're maintaining the state of whatever date is selected. Even though we're maintaining the date of whatever is selected, um, there's a couple things we're going to need to do. One, every time that we show this dialog, we might have to think about how they do this. But we want to make sure that um, the dialog loads, with selected date. So if I select, December 10th, the next time I open it, I want December 10th to be selected. In addition to that, um, we will want to do some cool stuff with like date formatting. So, maybe I do like today, tomorrow, and then the date, or maybe to be easy, we just format the date to say like December 10th, 2021, and then have that be true whether it's today or whatever. Um, so that's the kind of stuff we're gonna do when we get back. But let's take a quick break, stretch our legs. We'll be around. I'll throw on some lo-fi beats for y'all, and we'll be back in a sec. Sorry about all that, but now we can keep staying hydrated. So, what did I say? I said we need to worry about handling this callback and maintaining that current date at the view model level. So it's part of our view state. But we also want to eventually replace this today text with um, some actual date formatting, which we can do. Um, let's handle the callback first. So we can go all the way up to our add task view model. Um, and let's create a public function here. We'll call it on task scheduled date changed. This will have like a new date, which will be a local date. Um, and so what are we going to do? Well, we'll want our current input, which will be like viewState.value.task input. Our new input will be current input.copy. Scheduled date will be new date. And then we can say viewState.value equals add task viewState dot active, and then task input will be new input. So that's the view model function. This we can handle in on task, no, sorry, task, what is it? Add task screen. Um, we have this on task schedule date changed. So here we'll just do view model on task schedule date changed. Um, here, ooh, we still need to worry about the disabled state as well, but we can do that. Um, we'll have value, which will be a local date, and then on value changed, local date to unit lambda. Um, pass those in. Value on value change. Boom, boom, boom. Cool. We'll need to update that here. Value will be view state dot task input dot scheduled date. On value changed will be on task scheduled. Wait. Oh, yeah, I need to pass it through. On task scheduled date changed. On task scheduled date changed. all the way up here again. Test schedule date changed. Test schedule date changed. Okay, and that should handle changing the state. Um, but if we run this and test it, which we can do, the thing is we won't see any UI indication that it changed because of the fact that we always show the text today. So we need to do some sort of date time formatter to display this text. So let's actually run this. Let's make sure I can do this callback and nothing crashes. I really want to know why it's laggy. Love to that. Okay, so it doesn't crash. So let's do some sort of date formatting here. So there's some good ways to do this, in which case any sort of date manipulation should probably not go. Well, this could be debated that it should not go inside the composable function. Am I going to put it in this file anyways for ease and to get something working quickly? Probably. Um, what I can do is I can actually just make that a nice little like local function for now. Um, uh, we could do it to like 2 UI string. Um, and maybe this logic should go elsewhere. Um, this logic definitely deserves to go elsewhere, but I'm not really sure where I want to put that right now. So let's not worry about it right this second. Let's go ahead and just do a daytime formatter. I think I might also tweet something out, let people know we're still going. Said that I wanted to make that a plan to move forward. Okay, so how do we do this? I know we can do, for the formatter, we basically do daytime formatter of pattern, and then we give it some string, which is like the format we want to do. Um, which we can do like month, day, year, right? I think that's the format. And then we can return formatter dot format this. How do we, I guess, where would the comma go? Would it go here? Oh, let's run this and let's see what we would get here. Format date Java type. There's all sorts of stuff. Oh, there also is some default formats. Hmm. I guess that's not necessarily what I want. Got it. So here are the things. So like, oh, I did minute of hour. So if we wanted month of year, it would be like capital M. Um, and then day of month would be lowercase d. And then year, I think, is lowercase y. So I think if I were to change it, I would just do this. Um, and I think if I did 4 of these, that's like the fully qualified month name, which would be nice. Ooh, nice. The live literals are updating. So yeah, this format would give me like December 7th, 2021, which is today. So let's run that and let's test that out. Nice. So we see today's date. Let's change this to the 17th. If I can click on it and hit OK. Nice, and we see the new date. Now we do still have the one problem where when I launch this again, it still shows today's date. So we need to give it like some initial value. Uh, let's figure out how to do that. Um, ah, so in the date picture function, there's a parameter in here um, for the initial date, which defaults to today. So we can just change that to, in here, we could say initial date equals value. And that should fix the last of it for the date problem, or for the date portion of this screen. So let's check. So we'll do December 14th. And now when I open this again, December 14th. Perfect. Um, cool. That's a date picker in Jetpack Compose. That was fun. Um, definitely learned a lot from that. Shout out to CP who gave me the idea to use that dialogue. Did I add that into the stream history? Um, I did not add that specific one, compose material dialogues. We're gonna add that. Oh wait, I did. Yeah, compose material dialogues. Okay, I did add that to the stream notes, which is great. I'm going to take the code we did just push though and make a pull request for that. And again, I'll clean up all these pull requests post stream. Um, was this after it? Yeah, okay. So this was created a TOA date picker that allows the user to select the date they want to complete a task on. This will be enhancements, and we'll throw this inside task management, and we will keep going. We are cranking out a lot of code tonight. I love it. Thank you all for joining me. Hope you all are having a good time or have learned something along the way. Um, so we move on. So we have the date picker here. Um, we also need we could do something fancy, like not let you select a date in the past, but we'll worry about input validation for later, maybe even next week. Um, what I would like to do is, I would like to handle inputting stuff in here, because we don't have that. So let's check out a new branch again. Um, and we'll call it description handling. Right, and we'll deal with the text input there. So this actually could be really fast um, for the basic stuff. And let me show you why I think that's really fast. Because we've already built the framework for handling a lambda when that text changes. We did that composable earlier in the stream. So all we need is something on the view model that's a lot like this. We would need something like on task description changed. That'll have a new description, which is a string. And we'll get our current input, view state value task input. We'll have new input, which will be that copy description equals new description. And then we just do the same thing as before. View state value will be view state active, and task input will be new input. So our view model has a way to update the state with the new description. So the next thing we can do is go back to our add task screen, and where we have on task description changed, we can do view model on task description changed. And I think actually that will um, get us a working solution for now. Um, but what I'd also like to do is add like a placeholder on this composable because I don't like that when this screen launches open, that's blank, right? Like I would like there to be some sort of like placeholder that says, hey, like, I don't know, here's the task idea. Um, to indicate that you can click on this and you could like start typing something in. Um, I'm also nitpicky, and I think I'm gonna make this like text cap sentences or something. Um, because I would rather have like, you know, instead of like clean with a lowercase, I would rather have it be like clean room or something like that. So let's do both of those little cosmetic fixes real quick. Um, we'll go to our add task content, inputs, task description input. Okay, so what do we got here? We should have keyboard options. So here we could do keyboard options dot default dot copy, and then we can make our capitalization keyboard capitalization dot sentences. So the start of every sentence, our keyboard will automatically capitalize the first word. So that's one nice benefit. But we also want a placeholder, which our our base text field doesn't support. So let's look at how we can do that. So the outline text field has a placeholder composable. And usually this would be like some text, like, enter something. But we don't always want to show this, right? So what I would do is I would have like placeholder text. This will be a string, and I'll make it nullable because I won't always want to supply this. Um, I could pass an empty string and just kind of always have like an empty placeholder there, but I don't know if we want that. We'll make it nullable, which is probably what I should have done for label text as well. But then what we can do is we could say, okay, um, placeholder text let. So if this is not null, um, here we could show a text composable. Text will be placeholder text. Is this using material 3? It is. Nice. Why are you yelling at me? Um, am I suddenly not using? Oh, maybe because I can't use like let here. Um, what if we did like that, and then we just said like if placeholder text not equal null? Okay, that satisfies the compiler. Um, but I feel like it's kind of inefficient because this is being called every time, even if I don't have a placeholder, but that's fine. Let's just get something working. We can worry about efficiency later. So then here, task description input, inside our add task content, we can set a placeholder text. Um, what's a good placeholder? What was I putting on my template inside? Whoops. Oh, I don't have it open. Um, I could just say like clean my office space. That's what I put in like my sample earlier. So let's run this and let's see how this placeholder looks. Oh, and maybe it kind of makes sense to do like a dot dot dot, like as a help indicate that that's a placeholder. Um, I also need to do, I think, some string resource extractions later as well. Um, oh, that's weird. The placeholder only came up when it was focused. Is that normal? Huh. Ooh, this could be yet again Serial 3 thing, although I doubt it. Yeah, the placeholder is just not there. And then I hover and then it's there. Huh. Oh, I know why. I know why. Um, this is tricky. This is not obvious. So we have this label, right? This goes back to sort of my question earlier about the nullable fields. This label composable is always there, even if the text is empty. And so what's happening on the default load here is the label, you know, if you could think about what a composable looks, what a text field looks like if there is a label, it starts off here and then it moves up to the top when you focus. And so the problem is there's a label here, even though it's empty, and it's trying to show that empty label instead of the placeholder. And I can prove this if we want to see it. So if I just make this null, if I don't show a label at all, right, then when I run this, the placeholder should be there. So this is a similar thing, like even though I don't have a label property, um, or if I don't have a label property, then I shouldn't be showing a label composable at all. Um, so here's how I could clean that up. Um, I could put something in here and be like, label, this will be like a composable function, and we'll say equals label text let. Um, actually, I don't know if this will work quite that simple. No, because the let doesn't return like, I guess I would have to do it. Can I do it like this? Whoops, whoops. I was trying to see if there's some fancy way to do this here, but I don't think there is. Um, how can I know I've done this before. Where have I done this? Um, like how do I give it, let's try this by itself. Hold on. So that works. So I can do label text let. And why is this yelling at me? Type inference failed. Okay, that's fine. So if I avoid type inference by doing at composable unit, now this is yelling at me because it required this. Oh, I see, I see. So I just need to make this nullable. So I may have a composable function, I may not, but Okay, let's rename this. So this is like a label composable. That it's only there if we actually have a label. And I can do the same thing here with placeholder then. So this will be composable, unit, it's nullable, placeholder text, composable text, placeholder text. Nice. So then here I can do label composable, and then out here I can do placeholder composable. And then what I can do is inside, that was a little tricky. Let me know if anyone needs me to walk through what I just did again. Because that was definitely tricky. But then what I can do in my actual implementation is um, in task description input, I can say label text is null. And basically, if you need a technical explanation, I can give it to you. But the short explanation is that I've now made it so this behavior that we see here should always work. When I run this, I should see the placeholder, and when I click on it, I can start typing. And this works out because this one does not have a label on it. Nice, that looks good. And that looks good too. Um, Toothbrush. Um, awesome. So that looks good. We've got, we can handle text input, we can handle date changes. So the next thing that would make sense on this screen is like submitting a task. And I'm wondering if that's worth doing in this stream. Um, or not. Because we've been going for a while. It is 10:30. I have to pack for a hiking trip. I might call it a night. Um, yeah, let's call it a night. Let's get this pull request up. I will also spend some time getting this and last week's stream up on YouTube. Um, or description. But I'm glad I learned a lot. Wow, we did some navigation. We set up the add task screen. We added a date picker. Um, I feel like we definitely did more than that. Um, but I guess that's all we did. But there was a lot. We added some use cases, um, add task UI, navigating to the screen, implementing a date picker, and now we're also going to say like we handled some text input changes. So we did some good stuff. And I think where we'll pick up next week is we can go through this basically do like an implementation on this screen where we can actually store the task, maybe store it like in like memory or whatever, and then on the task list screen that is there, maybe we'll see that new item. And we can start with it in memory, but then maybe we move over to doing room in the next couple weeks. Oh, I never did a disabled state for the date picker. We'll make that uh, priority next week as well. But let's make this pull request, and then we can hop off um, and see if there's anyone into raid. So yeah, we've got like an Airbnb in upstate New York, and we're going with some friends and their dog. We're basically gonna be in the woods, do some hiking. By hiking, I mean like 5 mile walks on flat terrain, but not like mountain hiking. But it should be a good time. I'm excited to get away into nature for a little bit.